How did you experience that as a black guy in China?
Okay, so I didn't get into marriage, but mostly I didn't have problems with relationship. But there's one situation that happened on my channel. There was this girl I was going out with, but the family played a big role in it that we couldn't advance in the relationship. It's on my channel. Yeah. But aside that one, girls that I meet, they were welcoming to taste the other side. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Just to see what it's like. What's like a really low month and what's a high month? And because like it's not the same every month. So
Yeah.
what are the ranges? Well, just so people know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to grow my channel, so it's not like I'm making like millions out of YouTube, but probably maybe, let me say, like maximum highest month, probably 4 grand, and maybe on a low month, probably 1.5 to 2K.
And if there's one thing you want to say to the people who made it this far so already, what is it that you really want to say to them?
All right, so I would like to say a very big thank you. I would like to say, don't limit yourself. Every dream is achievable. Even if you need to leave your comfort zone, you need to leave your comfort zone to chase that dream. Every dream that you have is achievable. I'm from Ghana to China to right now traveling around just to chase this little YouTube dream. So everywhere that you have, no matter the hindrances, the obstacles that you're going through, try to put this dream into work and you're gonna achieve it.
From escaping the system of Ghana, through moving to China, living there for 6 years, to now traveling the world, all because of YouTube. Listen to this amazing story full of cultural insights and YouTube hacks and everything you can learn from it. It's really insane. So here's yours truly, Prince Heavens.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, man.
Thanks, man.
Second time.
Second time, back again.
Back again. First time we recorded in a rice field, then the camera got overheated, and it did not work anymore.
Yeah, it was a tough day.
It was.
But today is gonna be a good one.
Yeah, because we have AC, camera cannot be overheated.
Exactly.
So let's do the conversation again. So first of all, thank you for your time.
No worries.
You're from Ghana.
Ghana, yeah.
That's where it all started, right?
That's where I was born and raised till I was 19 years, and then I left to China.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Ghana to China, that's like a crazy transition, but that's how it is.
Okay, so first things first. What was it like to just grow up in Ghana? Because I think a lot of people have a perspective of Ghana that's like maybe a really poor country, or maybe it's like, what is it really like to grow up there?
Yeah, growing up in Ghana. Okay, so if someone doesn't know, Ghana is a country in West Africa, and currently it's among one of the most tourist places that people visit to celebrate Christmas. It's really interesting there during December, and not just December, like throughout, there are a lot of tourist places, beaches that you can visit and enjoy your holidays. So you can visit Ghana. Yeah, so growing up, I'm from a middle class family, and growing up wasn't so challenging. We had the basic things in life, life was good. I had a place for me, like usually what I care most is where I put my head and the food to eat, and all those fundamental things I was able to get from my parents. Yeah, so that's how it was growing up.
Yeah, because when you were younger, like 7 or 8, you told me your parents split up.
Yeah, so my parents separated when I was very young, around 6 years. So, but then my mom was trying to find her feet after the divorce. She wanted to start some business on her own to take care of the kids. So her schedule was so tight, so she decided to split the kids. So I was taken to my uncle, my other siblings was taken to some of my other relatives. So I was raised by my uncle, and they raised me very well. And that's the parts of Ghana in the eastern region. So I was away from the capital, but then they raised me very well there.
Yeah, and then at some point you wanted to escape. Like, if it's such a good location to go for Christmas,
yeah,
why would you escape like a good Christmas place?
Yeah, just like we are all out of our comfort zone. Probably you're also not from here, right?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, so we all try to escape our comfort zone, not just because it's not good, but also to try out other opportunities, So growing up in Ghana, the place is good, but also there is this problem of unemployment. Okay, so after graduation, sometimes it's quite difficult for you to get a job. You can stay home for like 2 years, 1 year looking for a job, you know. And even if you get a job, sometimes the money that you get as a young guy growing up is not enough for you to start something, you know, like the kind of life that you want to live. So in my case, when I was in high school, I was already told that my cousin is in China, and when I graduate, there are opportunities there that I can look into, you know. So after graduation, I had to leave and leave my comfort zone, go out there. And I was very young then, 19 years. I was very young, but then I have to leave my comfort zone and go out there and try to look for these opportunities outside.
Yeah, that was all before the 43Ks on YouTube.
43K
subscribers on YouTube.
I didn't know even anything about YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Then at some point you escaped, but what's the culture like in Ghana? And then we can go into the culture in China. Like, what's the biggest gap there?
So there are a lot of differences when it comes to the culture between these two countries, you know. Totally different world. And language barrier, of which China, mainly people just speak Chinese. And when I traveled there, I had no idea about the language. I couldn't even speak a single word. So the language barrier, the food culture, like totally different food. In Ghana, people are very welcoming, very friendly. But in China, people are more closed up, you know, unless probably you start engaging them in their language, and then they'll be like, oh, he can speak our language, and they welcome you, you know. So it's quite different, very different in many things. Yeah, and even in terms of the living cost, it's also different.
Yeah, because what's the culture like in Ghana?
In Ghana, it's like more of society, more of a community, you know. Where I was growing up, we had families that they are not part of our family, but because we're all living in the same community, we are all like a big family, you know. Yeah, so it's more of like a society thing.
Yeah, so it's more with each other.
Yeah, but in China, it's like, okay, I'm a foreigner there, but then everyone there is like, they're all in their own zone, you know. Yeah.
And then at some point you graduated college, your cousin already lived in China.
Yeah,
for
at that time he was living there for 5 years.
Yeah, and then it was, okay, I need to escape the system of Ghana because the opportunities here are not that well, or like
for my vision at that moment. Yeah.
You move to China.
Yeah.
You land there. What's the first thing that goes on?
So I remember that day, my cousin picked me up from the train station. We got into the city. It's like, where am I? Like, it's a different world, you know. But it was nice. As I was saying, the language barrier was a problem. It was a problem. And the funny thing is, during the first week, I need to go to the supermarket to buy something, right? So when you go to the supermarket, you don't know anything there. So you just be pointing this. And those aunties in the shop, they don't understand what's the meaning of this. So they'll be like, smart, like what? what? Smart. So it was quite difficult with the language. But my cousin, who had lived there for 5 years, he was fluent in the language.
In Mandarin, right?
Very much. He was very fluent. So that inspired me to also learn the language. So anytime that I'm going outside, I try to learn what I'm going to buy. So if I'm going to buy like a watch, I'm going to learn what's the Chinese name of watch, you know. And I already have the template. Maybe I want to buy, I've already learned that. So anytime I'm going to buy something outside, I try to learn the keyword that I'm going to buy. So that's how I started learning the language. And
so how do you say I want to buy a watch?
Wisha mai sobiao. Can you try that? Wisha mai sobiao.
Wisha mai sobiao?
Yeah, that was close.
Something like that. It's a really interesting language.
It is, but very difficult to learn too. Very difficult.
Yeah, how did that go? Because also the pronunciations and everything, the tune of voices within the Mandarin language. How did you manage that? Because I think it's really different from English, really different from...
even my local language, it is different. Yeah, so actually I didn't really document how I started learning that language, but when I got there first, I was trying to learn the greetings, you know. I started with the greetings. I was writing some few words down. And then later, I started learning the language by living it, you know. So if I'm going outside, if I want to do this, based on the activity that I'm going to do, I'll learn some few words about that activity, you know, and then go out, socialize, try to say those kind of words. I was never thinking of maybe I'm pronouncing the words badly or wrongly. I just speak, and then sometimes they'll correct you, you know. So that's how I learned the language with my phone, use Google Translator. Basically, that's what I use. Yeah, Google Translator, and then go outside to practice, and then they'll correct me.
Just learn by doing.
Exactly.
And I think that's with everything in life. Like if you want something, you need to do stuff. And with learning the language, you experienced it firsthand.
Exactly.
In that way. So what do you think that big change of moving to China and learning the whole new language, learning a whole new culture brought you personally?
So it gave me a lot of perception about life. You know, it changed my whole perception, because moving to a country that is totally different from your world, it also gives you insight about the other parts of the world. You know, how Chinese live, how they react to things, how patriotic they are, how they love their country. You know, so and also Chinese are very hardworking, very smart people. You know, so all these are things that I learned from them whilst living there, you know, how they are able to manage, how they are always like trying to improve in everything, you know, and very smart people.
Because I think like, especially in Western media and US media and everything, China, same with Russia though, but for now let's say China, is framed in a really specific way. But what is China really like, honestly?
So I'm quite grateful that through some of my YouTube videos, I've been able to give people the perception, trying to debunk all this media perception about China. So sometimes when I make video, people be like, the things that we see on the media, that's not the same thing that's going on in this guy's video, you know, because some of these people are very welcoming, very nice. I show them how some of the infrastructures in China, I'm like, wow, we didn't know that China is like this, you know. We didn't know that people in China are this welcoming to foreigners, you know. So I feel like what goes on the media is quite different from what goes down in the country, you know. When you go to China, people are happy, people are free, very high technology, advanced country, you know. But in the media, it seems to be like people in like some kind of box that they are being enslaved, you know, like some exotic things going on. I mean, there are some exotic food and stuff, but yeah,
like
you
what?
know, I tried snake meat and frog meat in China. Yeah, so there are some kind of exotic food there. Yeah, I mean, and it's not like everyone there that eats it, just some individuals that they have the taste for it. That, yeah. But just like every other country, it's a free world. Yeah.
Especially because in the media it's framed as a communist country without any freedom and anything, right? Like that's how it's framed in the media. If you go really extreme.
Yeah, but living there, Chinese, the citizens, they are very patriotic. They love their country, and I think they are happy about whatever is going on in their country.
Yeah, and also the care the government takes of them, or how does that work for them? Or how did you experience that?
About the government?
Yeah, how did you experience all of that?
I think living there, most of the policies that they are making, it doesn't affect me in any bad way, you know. Usually you go outside, you see them developing something, improving something. So I think, and when you talk to Chinese, they are happy, you know. They are happy with how their country is being developed, how they are being governed. So I don't have any problem with that.
And I think we did not even dive into that. Like you went into China, you learned a new culture, you learned a lot of things that most people don't know about China. You were able to share that on your YouTube channel. But we did not even dive into like, what did you do there before YouTube?
Okay.
Most people don't know.
Yeah, so 6 years in China, I was teaching. Yeah, I was teaching as an English teacher. Yeah, it's a quite lucrative job in China, usually about 80% to 90% of the expats living in China, that's the job that they do. And it's quite lucrative, it's quite chill. Sometimes you just need to interact with the students in English, small. Yeah, it's quite a lucrative job in China.
And you landed in China and you immediately started as an English teacher.
Yeah, because my cousins already had the links and the opportunities there.
But you did not speak Mandarin.
Yeah, so you don't need to learn Mandarin to teach English. You know, there are teaching assistants that sometimes when you're teaching grammar or sentences, they can help you translate. You know, or even sometimes some of the things you don't need to translate because you have them on a flashcard. You have the picture. So probably if you are teaching fruits, the picture is on it. So the kids already have the picture in their head. You know, you don't need to translate like this. They already know that this banana that you're teaching. You know, so it's quite flexible.
And especially with kids, because like kids they're really visually orientated.
Yeah.
So I think it helps with teaching in general there as well.
Exactly.
So what are one of the weirdest things or one of the most interesting things that you experienced in China though?
Interesting. So interesting, I would say, how I was able to learn the language, you know, and then go out, socialize with the people for them to really welcome me. You know, it was really interesting. Like if you watch my YouTube videos, people are always surprised, like, wow, is it like, are they open to everyone like that? Myself, I don't know how they treat other people, but anytime that I go outside, they are very welcoming to me. That's very interesting. I love that. And then
Why do you think they are that welcoming to you?
Probably maybe I can speak the language and also my energy. You know, yeah. You know, if you have good energy, it attracts people. So probably I think that's why.
So you also try to make an effort for them instead of just, hey, I'm here now, serve me.
Yeah, exactly. I try to involve myself with locals everywhere that I go.
Yeah, because that's what you're doing on your YouTube when you're traveling as well.
Exactly.
But you were an English teacher in China. You were doing that for a couple of years. Now you're 1 year full-time on YouTube.
Exactly.
How did that start?
So the YouTube, actually I didn't sit down to plan, but I've always wanted to make money on social media. I've always wanted to earn a living on social media. But I thought it was going to happen on Instagram because Instagram I had about 12K, 13K. So I'm like, I can grow this channel, I can grow this page and try to be an influencer, you know. So that was my focus. But the YouTube entered unannounced. I had a friend who had a camera. He brought the camera to work one day. I'm like, bro, this is a nice camera. Let's try something, you know. And then we set a date. We didn't even know what we were doing. Those times, like I wanted to do more of fitness videos because like I'm very fitness oriented. So I wanted to do fitness video. I called one of my guys and then we went to a gym. And I don't even like to watch that video now. Yeah, because I didn't know what I was doing. That was my first time editing a long form video, you know, the audio sucks a little bit. And so I'm like, okay, I didn't know what I was doing there. I didn't know the journey that I was getting myself into. But after that first video, I felt it was cool, you know. I felt like this thing is nice. And it's not even about the views because I had about just 200 views or something. But I had this kind of feeling that this thing is nice. I can continue with this thing, you know. So I started making arrangements. I'm like, okay, the following week, I'm going to get another person into the gym. We work out. We talk about their routine. We talk about how they got into fitness. But within the next week, it was hard to get someone who also want to like share their story, you know, share their fitness journey. So it took about 2 weeks. Within that 2 weeks to release the next videos, there were a lot of mishaps. You know, I was trying to get a camera myself because the guy who shot the first video was very busy, you know, so he can't come and be helping me to shoot all the time. I wanted to get a camera and a whole lot of mishaps, you know. But after the 2 weeks, I met one girl who was willing to make the video. We shot the video. And after that, it was consistently releasing videos every week.
And I'm also curious though, because you started on YouTube. It came a bit unannounced because someone just came to you with a camera. And then why did you thought like, okay, now I need to do it consistently? Because there was like a certain hunger or something. How did it work for you?
Yeah, initially it wasn't hunger. It was more of like passion, because I've always been someone who likes to be on the camera, who likes to take pictures, likes to take videos, So initially when I started, it wasn't even about the money. It was like, I'm just doing this for the camera, And then this channel started growing, I started trying to document about my life in China, how Chinese girls perceive dating other races, how interracial couples, the challenges and the interesting things about being interracial couples, And I was going on dates with Chinese girls, trying to get their perception about whole this interracial dating. So I think people got interested in it. People were very curious about how Chinese girls also, because just like you're saying, the media is like painted in a way. So I was giving them the perception of the people, the individuals living them, like themselves. What do they think about all those things? So I think people got interested in it, and then
What do they think about it?
It's quite a broad topic, and usually it's based on individual, what the individual likes, but also family play big roles in interracial marriages. I have a couple of interviews on my channel that the couples, like they said, when they wanted to get married, their families weren't in agreement. They need to fight through, they need to convince, they need to have meetings several times before their family agree, okay, now you guys can get married, Yeah.
That's really interesting, because that's, for a lot of countries, that's not really common that you just, you love someone, you can get married. But in China, it's like,
it's different. Families play big role.
So
especially when a guy is a black guy like me, like it's a whole lot of sentiments to it.
How did you experience that as a black guy in China?
Okay, so I didn't get into marriage, but
I don't see marriage ring, so that's fine.
Yeah, but I have one. Mostly, I didn't have problems with relationship, but there is one situation that happened on my channel. There was this girl I was going out with, but the family played a big role in it that we couldn't advance in the relationship. It's on my channel, But aside that one, girls that I meet, they were welcoming to taste the other side. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Just to see what it's like.
Yeah, they were open, they were quite open-minded, but not all the girls that are really open-minded. Some of them, you need to talk them through. Some of them, like, they think about what will my friends say about me dating different race, but it all comes down to the cities too. It depends on the environment, Where I was living was a bit like middle-class city, but it was the capital of the province. So it wasn't like a village or town, but it's a city. But usually very big cities, like the girls are very open-minded, exposed to foreigners. So for that one, like it's not much a hustle, but maybe when you go to the middle cities, towns, and all those kind of rural areas, it's quite, some of them are still a bit hesitating,
So then at some point you filmed everything, you started making videos because of the passion of it. And from that passion you started to be consistent, like there was this urge to create a video every week. How do you look back on your first video now?
I don't like to watch that video. But also, I decided to even not to delay it or not to archive it. I just wanted to be there for people to see how the journey started, So it's there. But it's a cool video, gym vlog with my brother. We're talking about his fitness routine, his journey. Yeah, it's cool.
I think the point is, because of course I had a first video as well on this channel. And your first video will suck.
It is.
It's just like your first video will be bad, but you need to start.
You need to start with something. And just like I always say, you need to start broke. You need to start being hungry. You need to start without any plans. You just do it, Yeah.
And from doing, you're learning. So how did you learn over time within your whole YouTube journey when that started? Because you started growing quite quickly, actually. It took you 4 months
To reach
to reach 1,000 subscribers, right?
within 4 months, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite quick for most people.
Okay.
For most people, like I've been doing this for over a year now, and it's at 206, 5, something like that. So I don't care because I love doing it and like sharing the stories. But why do you think you were able to grow so fast?
I think probably because of the content, the niche that I was touching. You know, I was trying to bridge between two cultures. You know, was trying to bridge between the Chinese culture that people that is behind the curtains. You know, I was trying to release the curtains to people. You understand? So that's something that people were curious about. You know, and also I was trying to bring in my part of the world into theirs. You know, so I go out with a Chinese girl. We talk. I try to explain my culture to her. She gives me a perception about what she thinks about mine. I also try to go deep into their Chinese culture, you know. So I think these are things that people were interested in, you know, because the channel wasn't just about myself, me documenting about what I'm doing in China, the food I'm eating. It's about touching on culture, you know, and that's what I've been doing. Even after leaving China, every place that I go, I try to get something about a place, you know. It's either the street food, try to interact with the locals, even nightlife, you know, everything about a place.
Yeah, eating snake meat.
That's all part of it.
Because in the previous podcast that we recorded but did not got recorded, you told me it tasted like fish.
Yeah, so snake tastes like fish, and then frog tastes like chicken. Really?
That's so weird.
Really.
That's so weird.
Really. And my first time, I was very skeptical. I'm like, and the funny thing is, I did it for a YouTube video. No, I did it for a YouTube video, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have an experience of tasting snake meat in China. And we cooked everything. They fried it very well. They brought the fish, and I was a bit shaken. But when I had the first bite, oh my God, it was nice.
And within that whole YouTube journey, like you grew to 1K within 4 months. You improved over time. How did you improve?
So after the first 1K, the channel started growing. Like it was growing rapidly, you know, because also I was consistently posting every week. Even with my busy schedule as a teacher, I was still trying to make the videos and release it every week. So I think consistency also pays, you know, and hard work also pays. And I was getting the audience, I was getting people that they were interested in what I was doing. So yeah, it started growing.
And what are the things, like what are some mistakes that you made during that journey that you think like, why did I did it that way, that you know now but back then did not knew?
If I look back, probably if I had to do some things right, of which I don't regret, because I learned through all those experiences, so I don't regret them. But I would say probably when I started, just like I was saying, I didn't have any plan. I was just doing the videos, and sometimes even if I don't have any creative idea, because I just want to be consistent posting, I'll just try to do anything and post, you know. But if I had to restart again, I will have like plan that I'm following, you know. Okay, I'm getting into this business, because YouTube is a business, you know. You invest a lot of things, money, time, effort, you know. So I'm getting into this business. This is the path that I want to go on. These are the videos that I want to make, you know. I think if I'd gone that way, like my channel would have even grow even much more, you know. But it was more of like randomly, you know, when I started, and I had no skills in editing, thumbnail. I was just doing it anyhow. But it's all part of the journey, you know. You need to start from the bottom for you to learn through, and yeah, you get experience.
How did you learn it?
From doing it every day, doing it every week, posting, try to watch YouTube videos, tutorials on editing, how to design thumbnails. Yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I'm still learning.
That's really nice, because what are a couple of the things that you learned through YouTube? Because from my own experience, it's really self-reflecting. Sometimes it's a bit confronting as well. So what did you learn from it so far?
Yeah, so I feel like making videos generally is like you watching yourself from a mirror. You know, when I say that, I mean it's reflecting. So through YouTube, I've been able to discover myself more. You know, there are some things that I never knew about myself, but through this YouTube journey, I've been able to reflect and discover. Like, before I started YouTube, I didn't know that I was this socially active. Lately, I can go outside everywhere, like in the mix of everywhere. Like, I just go there, interact with people, socialize with people, engage them in conversation. But at first, I didn't know that I had these skills, you know. I didn't know I have this confidence to just go out, approach people. I didn't know that I can approach girls on the street with zero anxiety, you know. So through this YouTube, I've been able to discover myself more, and also I learned how it has reshaped my mentality, you know, because sometimes you make videos, they're not getting the views that you expect. You make some videos, you have this kind of energy that, this video is gonna be like 1 million views, and then it doesn't happen. There's disappointment. You just accept the results, you know. You keep working, you know. So it has reshaped my mentality to extend that everything is okay. You accept every result and then you keep going.
And what are some key points, if you would make them concrete, what are some key points that you think shaped your journey? Like, one is consistency, of course.
Yeah.
One is putting in the hours.
Yeah.
One is doing the work. What else? Like, what are some points that brought you the success you have right now within YouTube so far?
Yeah, I would say, just like you said, you've mentioned a couple of them. Main thing, I would say consistency. And also, you need to know what your audience are interested in. You need to know the kind of audience you are working with, you know. So always, I try to engage my audience. I try to experiment, you know, try to see what they are interested in. Sometimes you make polls. Oh, what kind of videos do you want this week? You put a couple of options for them to decide, because you're not making the videos for yourself. You're making the videos because of them. You know, when it becomes business, I mean, if you are making it for passion, yeah, but when it becomes business, you are making the videos for the audience. You know, so I try to engage the audience, and also invested, you know. I mean, invested in gadgets, you know, to get the good audio, to get good quality videos, you know. But also, I wouldn't say if you don't have the money to invest in this gadget, you can't make good videos. People are making videos with their phones, of which they are getting the views. But if you have the resource to invest in gadgets to make it much better, I think it's a good option too.
Yeah, so first of all, just start. And when you start, over time, invest.
Yeah, yeah.
To make it better, better, and better.
Exactly, you improve always.
How are you doing that right now? How are you investing right now?
So when I investing in gadgets, based on the creative ideas that I'm having, you know. So for instance, I decided to make traveling vlogs, and I'm like, okay, when I travel, I need to get the beautiful landscapes, the islands, so I need a drone, you know. I just decided to get a drone for those kind of videos, you know. So every time that I have a special creative idea that I feel like, oh, I need this particular gadget for it to make it more nice, for it to make the video much better, I try to get those gadgets.
How do you come up with all those ideas, though?
About the creative ideas?
Yeah.
So that's what I do usually when I'm traveling. I research about a place. For instance, I'm coming to Bali. I use my AI tools, ChatGPT. What kind of videos can I make in Bali? You know, and then based on the options that they give me, I see the ones that relate with my channel, the ones that relate to the kind of videos that I'm watching, I'm making. So when I'm coming to Bali, I know, okay, this place I can do this. When I go to Canggu, I can do this. When I go to Uluwatu, they have the beautiful beaches, you know. So getting to the place, I already have all those places in mind and what I can create there.
So how does such a process start for you? You open ChatGPT, and then, like, take us through the process and how you create a script or how you create a video.
Okay, so during my creative plan is like, I'm in Bali now, okay? I want to make a nightlife video in Canggu. I go to ChatGPT and then I type in best places to make nightlife vlog in Canggu. ChatGPT is gonna give me all the options, you know. And then based on the kind of video that I wanna create, so in case I wanna make a social interaction nightlife video, or I want to see a vibrant nightlife video that people are like going crazy, you know, so I'll say, or maybe I want a place with a street vibe, you know, people are on the streets, nightlife, okay, they'll give me all those options, and then based on my preference, I'll choose one, and then go to a place, try to make the video live, you know, try to make the video happen.
And then you also like have some questions prepared, or how do you prepare a video? So you choose a location, you choose the
location,
concept through ChatGPT.
Yeah,
and then
choose the location. Sometimes ask ideas about how to plan the video, and it plans the video for me, and then I go through it. And even sometimes interaction, what kind of questions can I ask in this place? What kind of questions can I ask the locals? Can I ask the foreigners, you know? So I use it to plan the videos as well. But sometimes when I'm on a street vlogging, it's more freestyle. Because maybe ChatGPT can be like, you can ask about their living, the cost of living in a place, you know. And then you get to the place, there are people who are just having fun. They just want to have fun, you know. It's not that moment that you're going to ask those questions. So you need to improvise and try to use the situation there to make the conversation, you know. So probably that's when you engage them about the nightlife there, about the activity that goes on there, why they choose to go to that place, you know. So sometimes when I get to the street, when I get to the location, it's more about what is happening at that moment and the person that I meet, what kind of story the person has.
So adapting to the situation to make the best of it.
Exactly.
And I think that's in YouTube with your videos, video creation, it's really important. In business, it's also really important.
It is.
It's like, I think in every aspect of life, it's really important to be able to adapt to the situation.
Exactly.
To make the best of it. So that's really cool that you also integrate it into your video processes and everything. So what else do you use ChatGPT for?
Most of from planning the videos, for writing the description for videos, for reviewing my thumbnails. After I design a thumbnail, I'll go to ChatGPT. What do you think about a thumbnail? It can give, maybe you can brighten the colors a little bit. You can try to make the writings bold, you know. And also even thumbnails, title suggestion, you know. So probably the video is about a street food. Okay, ChatGPT, I made a video about a street food in Bali. These are the situations that happen. Give me title suggestions. So it will give you like a lot of suggestions. And then based on that, I'll choose one that relates with the video, you know. So throughout my creative process, it plays a part.
And now, like a year ago, you quit your job, right, as a teacher?
Yeah. So currently I'm doing YouTube full time.
What are a couple of the things that people underestimate the most about having YouTube as a full-time job?
Yeah, so usually when I'm traveling and I meet people, they ask me, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a YouTuber. Like, they get surprised, like, that's your main job? Like, yeah, that's my main job. I feel like people still underestimate social media. Yeah, people underestimate social media because for the past 3 months I've been living on YouTube full time, traveling, living. I mean, I can do more, but at the moment, this is what is keeping me alive, traveling.
What can you do more?
As in, generate more income, yeah, generate more income. But so far, I wouldn't say I'm living my best life, but I'm very content and comfortable with what I'm doing, yeah.
So what are the hard parts from it? From having YouTube as a full-time job?
There is one difficult thing to it. It's not like a stable income job, Unlike if you're working a 9 to 5, or if you're working a 9 to 5, every month I'm getting 5 grand, But YouTube is based on the views that you get within a month. So a month that you get like crazy views, you can earn like a lot. But months that your videos are not really doing well, it means it's gonna come down. So it's all based on how, on your financial plan, how you try to manage your finance, So if months that you are not able to get much, you try to balance it with other months that you are doing well. So I think that's one of the difficult thing to it, and probably, let me see, any challenging thing.
So I'm curious though, like, of course it's always different, but what are the ranges for you? What's like a really low month and what's a high month? And because like it's not the same every month, so
Yeah.
what are the ranges? Well, just so people know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to grow my channel, so it's not like I'm making like millions out of YouTube, but probably maybe, let me say, like maximum highest month, probably 4 grand USD. Yeah, 4 grand. And maybe on a low month, probably 1.5 to 2K.
Okay, so yeah, that's quite hard because you're also investing in the channel, you're also investing in the life, you're also like,
yeah.
How many hours do you work on it? Honestly, like how many hours do you put in?
For now, it's not so time consuming for me because I've been doing it consistently and editing, yeah. But within a day, I can shoot, edit, and upload
A video.
a video, yeah.
And what are the things that you're trying to improve then now?
Right now, I'm trying to improve thumbnail. So I hired a thumbnail designer. I'm trying to build a team to help me to take the channel to a different level. So I got a thumbnail designer. I'm looking forward to probably get an editor too. But yeah, so trying to build a team, to elevate every part of the videos.
All right, and what's next?
What's next? That's a good question.
What's next? Like, what are your big plans right now? Right now, you're in Bali.
Yeah.
You moved out of China, so you first escaped the system of Ghana. Then, at some point after 6 years, you escaped China to see the world.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah. So I promise my audience I'm gonna give them an eye. I'm gonna be their eye. So it's not just gonna be like, we are in China, we are in Bali. I want to explore with them together. I want to be their eye that they explore, because probably we've been privileged to travel around these places, but it's not everyone that get the chance to travel around or get a luxury to travel, So, or even if they travel, it's not every place that I go that they would like to go, So I'm trying to bring out all these places. I'm trying to explore all these places with them, and I want to travel many countries whilst sharing their story, sharing their culture, learning their people's, learning the culture of the people, Yeah, so right now that's what I'm focusing on, try to travel around and learn as much as I can, and also share the story to my audience.
What I think is really cool in everything that you're saying is you really care a lot about your audience.
Yeah.
You really care a lot about your audience.
It's like a business owner, you know. If you have the products in your shop, you care about your customers because they're the ones coming to buy the product, you know. So that's how YouTube works for me. That's how I understand YouTube. I feel like the videos are product that I'm selling in the shop. So the viewers are the customers coming in to buy. Yeah.
And what I also think is really cool, you have like this really thick passion for telling the story of culture.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Yeah, so I think I developed that from China. How I was able to share the living in China with the audience. So I felt like maybe I just don't want to do this only in China. Maybe there are other beautiful stories out there that I can also explore and share, you know. So why not just go out there and try to do this thing, explore these places, explore this culture, and one thing I love about this journey is it's not just about the audience. Whilst sharing the story, I'm also learning a lot, and I'm also enjoying being able to discover all these places, or all this journey, or all this culture, you know. Yeah,
It really widens your perspective a lot.
it has.
That's what I learned myself through travels right now, and through all the people you meet, through all the conversations I have on this podcast with all the business owners, all the people from all over the world. All those stories and all those perspectives, you learn so much from that. So what are a couple of things that you learned so far from all the cultures and all the stories that you've been telling?
Yeah, so I would say every culture is diverse, you know. Even in Indonesia, I went to Jakarta for a week, and I came to Bali. Within the same country, it's a whole total different. What happens in Jakarta is totally different from what is happening in Bali here, you know. So you need to try to accept, respect every culture, you know, because every culture will have something that is different or that doesn't align with your culture, you know. So that's when you need to tolerate other people's culture and try to understand why they do things in a certain way, you know, because they are not crazy for just doing things that way. They have their reasons, they have their beliefs, you know. So it's just a matter of tolerating people's culture and try to understand them why they do things in that manner.
What did it brought you so far, personally?
Personally, it has. It has.
Yeah, what did it brought you?
It has reshaped my mentality about how I see things, how I interact with people, how I socialize with people, you know. It makes me free-minded, you know, very free-minded person to welcome everybody into my life and get to understand them, how they do things.
What do you do differently now than what you did before?
I would say at first, like, I was a bit laid back, you know, probably if I don't know about you, if I don't know more about your culture, I wouldn't like to engage you. But right now, I'm open, willing to accept everybody and try to learn something from their culture.
That's interesting, and that's all because of the whole YouTube journey, all because of the passion of sharing the cultures, all because of some guy who just brought a camera to work.
Exactly.
When you were an English teacher in China.
And the funny thing is, when we shot that video after we had lunch, and the guy was like, "Prince, you're going to be successful in this thing." And that was my video. Even at that moment, I wasn't thinking I'll be like consistent. Really, he said, "Bro, you're gonna be successful in this." I'm like, okay. And sure. I hope it comes through. I hope it comes through.
I think that's an amazing story, and that's, I think, for you, even the beginning of what you're doing, because the passion you have for it, the risk you take to go on it full time, and the willingness to please your audience in a good way, within the work that you also want to put in, it's really cool to see that. And it's also really cool to see that like it did not happen overnight. Of course, you got a bit lucky when it comes to growing quicker than normal.
Okay.
But still, you're working your ass off to make it work.
Exactly.
And I think that's really cool, man.
Thanks, man.
So
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
I want to thank you big time for sharing that story.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for
Of
having me.
course.
Thanks for
And if there's one thing you want to say to the people who made it this far so already, what is it that you really want to say to them?
All right, so I would like to say a very big thank you for watching the video to this extent. We really appreciate. And if you've been able to watch to this part, please subscribe to my brother's channel. He's doing an amazing job. He's sharing stories that probably you never hear. You know, you never know from a guy from Ghana, but he's here doing this amazing job. So please subscribe to the channel and recommend it to your friends. So I would like to say, generally, not to only YouTubers, but to everyone watching this video, don't limit yourself. Every dream is achievable. Even if you need to leave your comfort zone, you need to leave your comfort zone to chase that dream. Every dream that you have is achievable. I'm from Ghana to China to right now traveling around just to chase this little YouTube dream. So everywhere that you have, no matter the hindrances, the obstacles that you're going through, try to put this dream into work and you're gonna achieve it. Thank you.
All right. Visionaries, then I would say, well, he already said it. Like, subscribe, share it with people.
Please do.
I also link his account, his YouTube, Prince Heavens, into the description as well. Check it out because it's really cool how he shares all those cultures.
Thanks.
And visionaries, take action and check you later. Ciao.